Hello and welcome to today's class. Today we want to see how we can turn a quadratic expression to a perfect square. So let's go on to see the few steps that we need to take to make it happen. The first one is to first of all identify the coefficient of x squared and divide through with it. So we are going to be divide through by the coefficients of x squared. Now the second step is what? We identify the coefficient of x. And what do we do with it? We take half of it and square it. Take half, take half of coefficients of x and square it. Now what do we do with this when we are done? That leads us to the last step, add to the expression. If it is an equation that you are given, you are going to add to both sides of the equation. So if an equation, you add to both sides. So let's take an example. Given example 1, x squared plus 6x. This is an expression and we are asked to make it a perfect square. How do we go on with that? So the first step is to identify the coefficient of x squared. The coefficient of x squared here is 1. Divide through with it. Dividing through will give us the same thing. So solution, we have x squared plus 6x. Nothing to be done since the first step, the coefficient is 1. The second step is to take half of the coefficient of x. Half coefficient of x is 6. 6. Let's take half of that. Taking half of that means dividing by 2, and that will give us 3. And what do we do with the 3? And square it, square it. So let's square it. Squaring 3, we have what? We have 9. So it is this 9 that we are going to add to the expression. So we are having x squared plus 3 squared. So we are having x squared plus 6x plus 3 squared. X squared plus 6x plus 9. Now this has become a perfect square. Now what we have is a perfect square. Let's take another example. Let's take x squared minus 12x. Example 2. X squared minus 12x. Now it's still the same coefficient being 1. So we move on to the second step, which says we should take half of this, half of it, that is 12 plus 12 over 2, and square it and add it to the expression. So that's what we do. So we have x squared minus 12x. Half of this will give us 6 and square. So we have x squared minus 12x plus 36. Now this has become a perfect square. Let's take one more. Let's take the type that has the coefficient not to be 1. Let's take 5x squared. Example 3. 5x squared plus 5x squared plus 2x plus 2x. Okay, now solving this, we divide through by the coefficient of x squared. So I think I should solve in this page. Let's move on to solving this page. Okay, yeah. So solution, I have 5x squared plus 2x. How do I do this? The first step is to identify the coefficient of x squared and divide through by that. So I will be dividing through by 5. So after I've done that, that will leave me at x squared plus 2 over 5x. Now, we are now going to identify the coefficient of x. The coefficient of x here is 2 over 5. So taking half of it, 2 over 5 will give me 1 over 5. So I am going to be having 1 over 5 and I will square it. Right? Yes, and I will square it. And that will give me x squared plus 2 over 5x plus 1 over 25. Now that is it. If you want to, that is it. Now, okay, let's take another example. This is example 3. So the last example, example 4. Example 4. Example 4, let me 3x squared minus 5x plus 1. 3x squared minus 5x plus 1. Now to do this, we start again. Solution 3x squared minus 5x plus 1. I will be solving this here because of space. Okay, so dividing through by the coefficient of x squared. I will divide everything here by the coefficient of x squared, which is 3. And that will lead me to having x squared minus 5 over 3x plus 1 over 3. Now that I have done this, the next step is to identify the coefficient. Identify the coefficient of x, which is going to be minus 5 over 3. So the coefficient of x is minus 5 over 3, and I will have and half of it. So I'm going to have x squared minus 5 over 3x plus 1 over 3 plus again the half of this and the square of the half of it. So I'm having half of 5 over 3 and squaring it. So that will lead me to having x squared minus 5x plus 1 over 3 plus 5 over 6. Now, that will lead me to having x squared minus 5x plus, the LCM here is 6, 3, 2, so I'm having 2 plus 5. Yes, LCM is yes. Now, that will give me x squared minus 5x plus 7 over 6. Now, at this juncture, I would like to say something. If you ever want to clear fraction in your work, take for instance, I want to clear the fraction here. I'm going to take the LCM of the denominator and multiply through by that. And that is exactly what I'll be doing here because I want to clear this fraction. I hate my work being in an improper fraction. Having 7 over 6, it looks dirty to me. So to do that, I will divide through by 6. Dividing through by 6, I will have 6x squared minus 6 times this will give me 30x plus 7. I think that will do it for me. That will do it. Okay. Now that means I have perfected my imperfect square. Now, a little correction over here. A little correction to, I think, example 2, when I took the coefficient of x squared. The coefficient of x squared actually is minus. The coefficient of x is actually minus 12. And that minus 12. But why it won't affect our work right now is because when we square a minus sign, minus 6 squared, will give us positive. So our work still is still very beautiful. It's still 36. Now, with this, we have come to the end of today's video, of today's class. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. It is important for my growth. Thank you and God bless you. Bye bye.